Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Otaku Sentai Podranger. This is your host B-Shuck.
And Ben.
Bedsheet.
And Dio. How y'all doing?
And Lane. What's up, guys?
We got more Gozyuger goodness to talk about with y'all today, starting off with the second part of our little GaoRed arc we have going on with episode 12, Demon Roar. Yep, this one picks up where we left off with the hatred number 1 sprouting up from the tag number 1 in a shocking revelation. Yeah, not only do we have this very menacing number 1 monster to deal with, but it turns out that the human host for it is none other than Luna, which is the girl that Gaia's been fighting to get vengeance on. And so in this episode, we get the full backstory of what happened where Gaia and Luna were hiking and, Gaia nearly dies, but then Luna actually sacrifices herself to save him. And so not only does he harbor a lot of guilt about that, but when Luna gets possessed by the hatred that starts attacking him, he feels like he has this obligation to take it down to sort of, atone for his guilt of, causing her to die, basically. And Rikuo is able to sense that, like, he's planning to, like, sacrifice himself out of this. So he kind of tries to reach out and, stop that from happening. But,
Yeah, two musicians having each other's backs.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I kind of like how they framed it where like it's like right as she dies is when she gets possessed, and so like this hatred monster is like using her as a vessel for its power. But then it's like it kind of reflects what Gaia is like kind of thinking. It's like, oh, she totally hates me because she's dead. And then this is kind of the final fights we see with this creature. It's kind of him going through these emotions of like how he feels in terms of that. Yeah, like not to mention how it's like the hatred number 1 is literally like a first of its kind. Like we've never seen something like this before. This is deep.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, this is a pretty emotional episode with this like very tragic backstory, and especially when we see the final conflict between GaoRed and the No One. They do a special spin on the usual like versus like ring like roll call sequence that they do, where each side introduces themselves, but it's like it has like the song that Gaia and Luna the song that like connects them is like playing as they're introducing themselves in their final battle, and it is honestly like it's pretty heart-wrenching.
Oh yeah.
Because it just totally flips the script, and it's like this is Gaia's show right now. Like, man, dude, it is insane. Because like we see a lot of firsts here. Like we see like the usual like battle start introduction being different, and then also with like this number 1 creature. I see on the Ranger wiki, they actually kind of go into the origins of number 1 monsters. And I quote, Banquet tells Kuon that number 1 monsters are a form of incomplete parasites when they come to the human world, which necessitates their needs to possess humans with desires similar to theirs to obtain their full forms. But with the demon, like the demon of hatred here, the demon number, or the number 1 hater, like her wish was to not die and remain with Gaia. But like with that, and like, with her dying, it's more of like the hatred comes from dying and not being with Gaia. And that's where a lot of the development comes from within the fight. And it's like, man, dude, because it's like the grieving process is so strong with Gaia here, and like the support that he gets from the Gozyugers, and especially Rikuo. Oh man, it is his masterclass. Which is like, man, they're really showing kids this before school.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
kind of like thrown off by just the fact that like just how cruel like no one world can be, because yeah, Bouquet was like, oh, this we have this monster that we not even we can control. All right, just put it inside another no one. That should do it. They just put it inside the tag one.
Yeah, the fact that this is a kids show, but it's not afraid to have this very heavy storyline. It
Right.
shows respect for the audience to handle
Oh, yeah.
these things. Instead of sugarcoating it.
Because this season in particular, I feel like it's a lot more for like all ages, especially with like all of like the references to the older
Oh yeah.
IP. Like this is definitely something that like you're gonna have generations of people watching this. So I'm not surprised that they're kind of going a bit deeper. The more the episodes go on, because like with Boombunger, you could definitely feel it's like, yeah, this is definitely for uh, a younger audience, but ultimately for everybody. Here, it really does feel like now that kind of we're in this stage, it's like, yeah, this is definitely like all ages.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like with this anniversary season, celebrating the whole history of Sentai, they definitely want to try to appeal to as much of like anyone who could have grown up with the series at any point in its 50-year history as possible. And so, which I mean, I would say that like a lot of toku in general is like, even if it is like primarily meant for kids, and especially like to sell toys for kids, like the actual like writing of the show usually is written with like a general audience in mind. Like they aren't like writing something like only kids can enjoy, but just like they want to make like a good story that like anybody
For
can
sure.
get something out of.
Yeah, because like the because we're able to have so many seasons back to back because of all those toy sales and those merch sales. And then like I mean, hell, the messages themselves, they're universal. Like you could take the values of the show and like apply them to real life, like whether you're a child or in your old age,
Oh yeah.
because like Gav, we're watching Gav. That show's got a lot of like deep moments where it's like there's a point where Shoma almost like falls into an eating disorder. I don't know if you caught that, B-Shuck, but like when he's like, it's like all I want to do is like eat, but I don't think that's good for me. Where it's like
Yeah.
that's good. That's good that he did that, because like that's like a prime moment where he could have like gotten an eating disorder from that. But it's stuff like that where it's like, yeah, this is like the healthy message to show, where it's like when you're stressed, you shouldn't just like eat whatever. So yeah, it's
Oh
like
yeah.
it's stuff like that where it's like it really goes to show it's like these messages and the themes, like it's so universal. Yeah, in terms
But
of Sentai, man, this is a really good episode about dealing with grief and like survivor's guilt.
oh yeah, definitely. And of course, the episode does have honestly a bittersweet ending, because obviously Luna is still dead, but when they finally defeat the no one that she's encased in, it's sort of like frees her spirit, creates a lot of closure for him, and with that, Guy is able to um, makes peace with her loss, and decides to forfeit the battle for the rings because of it, giving his ring to Rikuo, who really helped him out through all this. So
Yeah, that was a really good moment where it's like you think Guy is gonna lose the fight, but then Rico just starts singing the song, like the lyrics to it, while Gaia like plays the instrumental. And it's like, man, that's such a good moment, like especially like for like a Rikuo episode.
oh yeah.
Man, so good. Peak fiction.
Peak fiction.
And this
Indeed.
is
Indeed.
this is only episode 12.
Yeah. Let's see. Any final thoughts before we go on to the next one?
Take a Sword Blue Deca Claw was pretty sick. Where we had that,
Oh yeah.
that's like we had like a multi-form there. Really did enjoy that. And Gao King, when Gao King appeared, we got all those like older effects.
Oh yeah,
They all beat the shit out of the hatred number one.
oh,
Yeah, dude.
The mecha combat was pretty great in this one.
Yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
joint finisher, Tega Sword Star Lion duet. They obliterated the demon as the song was playing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's like he just kind of he gives him the ring, gives up the fight, and gives Rikuo the ring, declares him the winner, then kind of walks away saying he's gonna find his own journey because like he was kind of like inferring that he was gonna like end his own life once this
That's
was all over,
that's still
and
wild to me.
and at the end he's like, yeah, I have a life to live. I know she'd want me to live it. I'm gonna do just that. And he walks away playing a song, and man, that's like, yeah, this is peak Ranger right here, bringing up somebody that's like in the just the abyss in terms of like emotional state and lift them back up.
oh yeah.
Goodliness.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Still my favorite episode so far, I'd say. Like it's everything I think a tokusatsu episode should have. Like the final battle was great. The writing superb. Uh I don't think I enjoyed. Don't get me wrong. I am thoroughly enjoying the series, right? But oh man, that one episode, I don't think a single one got me as emotional as that one.
Oh yeah, yeah, because like this show is it's constantly like I was like, how's it gonna top it? How's it gonna top what just
Yeah,
happened? And then it just keeps doing
yeah,
it.
Yeah, admittedly, it was one of my lesser favorites. Not like underselling like how good it is in its own right, but
Yeah.
to me, it felt a little bit like too like flashback heavy, like
Mm.
just showing
mm,
like the backstory like
okay,
through the flashbacks. And I suppose that's not really like a flaw, but it just felt like very different for like how the show usually is. Like usually there's like just like all these different things like happening at once, and like you see the story, like you see it play out in such a fast paced manner. And I guess with this like with this episode, it felt, I guess, a lot more standard, just because I've like seen like so much like Toku at this point that like it felt like less like, I guess, like trademark Gojuger, like the unique spin that like the show usually has. I feel like for the story it was trying to tell, I think it did it pretty much like as perfectly as it needed to. Just showing the backstory and what happened, and also like slowing down to just process like how emotional like everything Gaia is like going through is. Just you know slowing down to sort of just process all of that. So like even though it wasn't as much to my preference as like these other episodes that have been, it's still a phenomenal episode, and obviously one that really resonated with you all.
Yeah, like I did notice that it kind of felt like, if you remember Gotchard, how kind of they set stuff up with kind of like side characters. I remember it kind of reminded me of the X-Rex that episode, whenever like that girl's dad like gets attacked by X-Rex or so. Was that what happened? I can't remember, but it
Yeah.
was like, yeah, it was like he gets attacked, and then like she's like, he blames me for that. And then whenever like they finally meet each other again, he's like, I don't blame you. This is crazy. This is a crazy discovery we made. It kind of reminded me of that, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this kind of handled that a little bit, because like this is like definitely like tougher source material, but I think with how they did it, I was pretty pleased with it. At least
uh,
from what I've seen before. So I feel that. Yeah. Hell yeah is all around though.
oh yeah.
Two for sure.
Now we move on to episode 13, Housekeeper Run, Ryugi's Manners.
Now this
So
is
we finally
Lane's got a lot to say about this.
Now we get to
Ryugi,
my
Ryugi's got
favorite
his time.
character. My
Oh, yeah.
boy.
Yeah, so we finally get some Ryugi focused episodes, finally delving into his backstory a little bit. And we get that through the maid of his residence, Shoko, who's the Universe Warrior Red Racer from GaoRanger, and she's basically in pursuit of Ryugi to drag him back home and have him, fulfill his usual duties. Because Ryugi comes from a very rich family. His family is all doctors, and he's basically expected to, follow in that same path. But Ryugi's very resistant to this. He wants to go his own way of worshiping the Tega sword. So there's this big conflict there. But while that's happening, this episode's in particular's focus is on the Manners #1 monster, the King of Manners, who
I really enjoy
yes,
this guy because like you can't even go up to him without him being like, "Whoa, that's impolite," and just like knocking you to the ground. If you do
Yeah.
anything that's like impolite, you
It's
explain.
so manners #1, like takes over this old dude, because the old guy's like, hey, you young kids need to learn some manners.
How
And-
dare you? How dare you eat while walking?
Yeah, exactly. Like what a thing to be mad
Dagnabbit.
about. Like he wasn't
Yeah.
littering. Like I could get it if he was like throwing his trash on the ground, but like yeah, eating on the street. But like manners #1 pops up immediately, just as polite as possible. Goes up to him, gives him a business card.
Yeah.
Like that's like what a heck of a way to introduce
yeah.
yourself to a stranger. It's like that's got to be some sort of flex. Like who's printing business cards in No One World?
Yeah, the business cards really got to me. That shit was hilarious.
No,
Yeah,
this no one was a joy to watch because not long after he shows up, Haru's like, "Oh, no one, I'm gonna kick your ass." Like, "Oh, did you just threaten me?" Penalty, huge chain around his neck. He can't move.
A threat? That's impolite.
He just keeps putting weights on him.
He's just acting like he has with every single other no one, but this one actually is like he's just taking the shit and is just like throwing it right back at him. Like you're not the problem if I take care of you early.
Yeah. So like all these no one monsters, the Manners no one has his uber specific gimmick, and he's pretty much making it everybody else's problem. And we get so in the Manners #1 battle, we get pretty much a series of manners tests, and obviously Hoaru, the stray dog incarnate that he is, just fails all of them. And as punishment, he gets this chain around his neck that gets heavier and heavier with each penalty. And although Hoaru's strength in making his own rules, once the chain gets so heavy, he lunges up and uses the weight of the chain to like just come down and crash the monster and destroys the chain. And yeah, another great example of Horu, sort of taking whatever situation he's in and just doing his own spin on it instead of just following the rules. Another great demonstration of that trait of his. But then Ryugi, who is the true manners champion of this episode, points out to the manners monster that, using manners as a way to shame and control people is, counterintuitive to being polite. It's actually quite rude. And so Ryugi gives him, he gives him grace and forgives him for his misdeeds, which sort of trumps, the manners monster is sort of like, blown away by being given such grace, despite turning out to be rude all along. So yeah, this episode's definitely more of like what I enjoy out of Gozyuger, just the sort of like just what kind of like silly scenarios we can get out of these like uber specific concepts, and how it can like bring out these specific traits in the characters, as they all show that, you know, they have their own like strengths and weaknesses in various different fields.
I've really been enjoying these the episodes where it feels like a team bonding like episode,
Oh yeah,
even though they're not obviously they're a team, but they're not supposed to be acting like a team for the sake of the competition. But it's just seeing them get brought closer together through these silly situations is just, it's great because it brings out everyone's personality. You just get that like on display to the max,
Oh yeah.
and you just
yeah,
keep learning
especially
more and
this
more
one.
about the characters. And the more I learn, the more I'm liking this whole group. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's just like because like with something as specific as this, and then like you just see horror just getting obliterated by the rules of it,
just
and then
just acting
Ryugi
like you
just
normally
coming in
would.
and just going full class mode.
Hmm.
That is, oh yeah, it's so sick.
Oh yeah. But yeah, the Manners monster is defeated, but Shoko is still, you know, trying to get Ryugi back, and her desire to take him back becomes so strong that it corrupts her Sentai ring and morphs Red Racer into a new form called Oso, or Reckless Red Ranger, or
Yeah, so
Red
she's like a
Racer
punk now.
rather.
Yeah, with the
Yeah. So,
cloak
like,
and the club.
yeah, she's got a spiked bat and like a delinquent's robe, basically.
And
Um,
the like the personality she adopted too, just like the punk like personality. It's great. Just,
oh yeah, very funny inversion, because, you know, Red Racer from Car Ranger, you know, Car Ranger's whole thing is that they fight for traffic safety, but with the corruption of the Sentai ring, it's now inverted her to, you know, not care about traffic safety and to be reckless. And so, pretty funny inversion of like this past Sentai's motif here. And so that leads directly into the next episode, episode 14, The Sacred Servant and the Legend of Tegasword. So this episode, you know, now focuses in on Ryugi versus Shoko. We finally see the origin of Ryugi's fanaticism for Tegasword, finding a book about his legend and how the Tegasword was able to basically like bring this village like eternal peace. And you know, Ryugi realizes that, you know, he can make the world a better place by following in the path of Tegasword, which, you know, is what makes the Ryugi that we know and love today. But Shoko's not concerned about that. She just wants a Ryugi back in the fold, you know, bring things back to the status quo, but Ryugi's not, you know, gonna have that. So the crux of this episode is their big duel between the two of them. And man, it's a like genuinely like one of the most like beautifully directed like battles, like especially
Oh yeah,
the henshin sequence where it like flashes back to them for a split second, like as Ryugi does his usual henshin sequence.
yeah, because wasn't there like a thing where like they kind of flash back and like you see both Ryugi and Shoko as children, where like
Yeah,
she's like working as a maid
yeah.
at like their estate, and then he like I think she was like sad, and so he gave her uh like a crown that was made out of flowers or something, and so like
yeah,
you see that right, and then like right is like they go Hitshin. Yeah,
but
it
yeah.
is
Shoko,
sick.
you know, had a bad time being a maid, but Ryugi brought her, you know, comfort, made her feel safe. So, you know, we see that she wants to take him back so that he can keep, you know, making her feel safe. But Ryugi has his own convictions, and, you know, he cares for Shoko, but he can't just give up what he's doing just for her sake. And so, yeah, the episode really gets into like how Ryugi's faith, you know, bolsters his strength. Like we
It's
get this sequence where Shoko like is about to deliver this huge like blow, like her club becomes like massive and is seemingly gonna flatten Ryugi like a pancake, but by believing in Tegasword, he's able to shatter the club like right as it reaches him, and he's unscathed. And yeah, really great. Like it really humanizes Ryugi's like faith as, whether, obviously if you're going to compare it to like real life religion, not everybody is religious, but like, faith doesn't necessarily have to be religious. It can just be like a belief that something would work out. And so if you believe something's going to work out, then you'll keep pursuing it. And, like faith in yourself, for instance, to be able
Yeah.
to succeed.
Faith in
And so
himself,
Ryugi-
faith in his friends, faith in Lord Tegasword.
So I feel a lot, or like I feel like at the beginning of the series when Ryugi was first introduced, and even at a couple of points I had, kind of just jokingly was like, "Ha, yeah, he believes in Tegasword, like he's a weird like religious fanatic guy." But
Yeah.
after
Tell
this
it.
episode, it really put some like emphasis towards it. Like he really means it because he grew up with it and believed it could bring his paradise, and that's like he's fighting for his happiness and everyone else's. It's like he cares. He really cares, and this episode really like drilled that.
Yeah. Because it's not just like, it's not blind faith. It's not
No.
like a thing where it's like he's like taking away his own personality and putting it into Tegasword.
Mhm.
Like Tegasword has definitely become part of his personality, but Tegasword has only bolstered his spirit, you know?
And it's not even misguided faith either, because Tegasword is right there,
Yeah.
giving him the
Literally talking to
guidance.
all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's really really impactful,
definitely.
and just seeing the sheer, just like the unwavering, like his unwavering ability to like, just he never backs down
Yeah.
from anything, and it's one of the reasons he's one of my favorite characters for sure.
Any final thoughts about this one before we wrap it up?
Let's see.
The transformation in this episode with the Tyranno Hammer 50 destroying the bat, like after he
Yeah.
prays. Oh my gosh.
Paladin
like-
coded.
I was like standing up from my chair, dude. That was cinema in a TV show. Oh my gosh, it was great.
I thought Kuon shielding himself twice was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Hitting on freaking Mrs. Sweetcake right in front of Shining Knife.
Yeah.
And then using them as the human shield. She's like, yeah, I don't like this guy anymore.
yeah, all that stuff with Mr. Shining Knife and Miss Sweet Cake and their love triangle with Kuon is pretty entertaining. Cause it's like, yeah, it's funny how they're like literally like conjoined, like at the hip, yet she
Mhm.
still is pining for other people. It's pretty humorous. But oh yeah, and it's funny that so Kuon, two of the Rangers he summons, Red Falcon and Hurricane Red. Red Falcon being used as a human shield is interesting because like the whole premise of a Live Man, the Sentai he's from, is about that team. Like it's supposed to be a team of like 5 Rangers at the start, but 2 of them betray the main 3, and that and they become like the main villains of the season or something like that. I haven't seen Live Man, so but
Wow.
the betrayal is like a prominent theme at like the origin of that team. So Red Falcon being betrayed like that by Kuon is another interesting little nod to Sentai history, of many that this show has.
Yeah, it's such a deep cut too, because like
Yeah.
I never would have, that just would have went right past my head, But it's like they can do these like little bits of fan service that just like blend in so well, and it's like wow, that's super sick.
Did fire candles show up in this episode?
I
Horu fights him.
oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
Fire
Yeah.
Candle challenges him to another fight, and then Kuon also wants to fight Horu. Yeah, and so like they just kind of fight each other. But Shining Knife was like, I hope they both lose, and yeah, they do kind of both retreat.
When will they stop hitting on my wife?
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah. Another thing with this episode is that like we get another winner sequence. Like when the narrator like calls out the winner, he calls out like the ranger's like real name, because like in the cockpit of the Tegasword, that like they don't wear their ranger suit, and I read that like that was a decision by the writer Akiko Inoue to want to have the rangers out of suit in the cockpit so we can like see like how they're feeling, because usually the Megazord fights are like, you know, the climax of the episode where the
yeah,
emotions are like the highest. So she really wanted the characters like emotions to be, you know, as visible as possible. So I think, yeah, someone on Twitter mentioned this as well, but like whenever the announcer like calls out like the character's like real name, it's usually when they overcome like a major like character arc. Like for example, you know, in episode 9, when it's Horu is announced as the winner, it was when he finally overcame his depression from his brother sort
Oh,
of
yeah.
cultivating
fun
his
stuff.
lack of desire.
Mhm.
You know, him finally overcoming that, or Ryugi. In this case, Ryugi, you know, not necessarily like overcoming like any hurdles beyond, you know, Shoko's resistance, but more so just becoming even more vindicated in his faith. And yeah, it's an interesting little detail.
Yeah, because like them also having like kind of like a White Ranger outfit, you know, like the white, gold, and black. I think that also fits too, where it's like this is like the one where this is them shining here. Yeah, good all around. Because I really, that's like one of my favorite parts about this show is that like you have the Ranger fights and the Tega sword fights kind of going on like simultaneously.
Oh yeah, yeah. Again, that just the
It makes it feel less
the
formulaic.
multifaceted fight scenes. It's very engaging to watch.
Oh yeah, because like that was a big thing with Boom Boonger that I was like, oh, little car man is this is his 38th time in a row making a giant monster. Oh man, yeah,
It's
no, like I love this.
no, it's like I'm curious to see if they are going to do anything else with the other Rangers, like families and like parental figures, because we've seen Kinjiro's family in his debut episode, and then we know a little bit about like Hoiru's mom, but like
Oh
we
yeah,
don't
and we got to get back to
we
Sumino's story too
and
with her sister.
we know like we know Ryugi's dad is um he's a doctor, but like we don't know anything else about the other Rangers, like
Yeah,
origins.
because
Like I'm
like with
curious.
Sumino, because like we still got that whole like setup with like the gray eyes and her
Yes.
sister,
Yeah, I'm
and it's like,
surprised it's
Yes.
oh
taking
man,
the
what's
time with
happening
that.
here? Yeah.
I really want to see where this all connects, because I have a feeling that all of the Rangers are going to be connected in some way through like an origin that kind of just spreads out. But I really want to see where this all links up.
Oh yeah. Me too.
Yeah,
Fan-
and
Fantastic episode though.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I
Really
like
good trilogy here.
and I like how the episode ends with Ryugi making a little shrine for the Tegasword, and the Tegasword kind of sheepishly lying and saying that it's cool just to make him happy. Yeah, nice
That
little
was
bit
dope.
of character for the Tega Sword. But yeah, any final thoughts on this episode?
Ooh, can't wait until we talk about the one right after. Just saying.
Oh yeah, we've been
Holy
yeah
shit! That's all I gotta say.
yeah yeah we're kind of biting our tongues about the next couple of episodes, but
Yeah, I want to talk about it, but like, well, I'll save it. I'll save it.
oh yeah,
It just
that's gonna
keeps
be
picking up.
oh yeah, that's gonna be a crazy discussion. But until then, this is Otaku Sentai Podranger, and we'll see you in the next #1 battle.
See you next game.
See ya.
See you guys later.